Well, good morning, good morning, good
There is
morning,
one
good
other
morning.
participant in the conference.
Okay, now you're gonna wait to the last minute to say that. Okay.
Please announce yourself.
You're gonna wait to the last minute to do that. Okay, that's good. Well, the phone
And
lines
good morning. There you
exactly.
go.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of the Morning Glow. I'm not important, just a question asker. My name is Raheem Ajmi, but I'm gonna tell you something. The person that is important is very important. This is my sister from another mother, but we got the same father. This is Zamari. Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you, honey?
Hey, doing good. Had to fight this system this morning, man. You had a battle. It didn't want to act right with me, but we fought through it. It was. I thought it was. Well, it thought it was a 3 round fight, but I knew it was a 12 rounder. And so after the third round, it had me up against the ropes the first 3 rounds, and it almost knocked me out. But I didn't do it.
You
I
got the TKO though, right?
Yes, man, because when the referee say okay, fourth round, they was already tired because they had extended everything. They thought it was a 3 rounder. Boy, from the fourth round up until the seventh, I beat the brakes off of him. And then he didn't even come out to answer didn't on the eighth round, didn't even answer the bell. Didn't even answer the bell. So I'm glad I'm glad there was a miscommunication. They thought it was a 3 round fight because that
I'll
fourth
have to
round,
send you a trophy.
yeah, please. 'Cause I beat the brakes off of him. From the fourth round on, I beat the brakes. I beat the yesterday off of him. That's a lot of
Oh,
beating when you beat the yesterday off somebody.
you beat the yesterday off of them. I like that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
and
use
so
that with my kids now when they get in trouble. I beat the yesterday off of you.
I beat the yesterday off of them. But listen, it's gonna be a great day today. It's what we call Way Out Wednesday. We don't have a topic today. People that's been listening to the broadcast for a while know and realize we don't have topics on Wednesday. We actually open freelance conversation. We talk about whatever we want to talk about. Hey, guess who with us this morning? This is Toya with the T. Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, good morning. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good. Toya with a T. I'm gonna tell you, I had a boxing match this morning.
You had a what?
A boxing match this morning.
The
Not this
couch, the
morning.
bed one?
Not this morning, but this morning. It's tough. They had me a little dizzy. I had to say this morning. A boxing match.
With the bed?
No, with the system. Man, man,
I,
me,
I
me,
believe it.
yeah, me and Zamar, we've been here ever since. We've been here for a while trying to get the system up. We've been talking.
6:45? Been there since 6:45?
No, we ain't been that long now. No,
Oh.
no, 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 no,
I've
Oh.
no.
been up since 6:30, so I don't know what he's been doing.
But and
Oh.
I've been up ever since six. But I'm talking about as far as this system, I ain't, that's a new age lie right there. If I say I've been working on it since 6:45, that's one of them new age lies. I'm old school. If I'm gonna tell a lie, it's gonna be an old school lie. There's a difference. There's a difference. But Toya, I had a fight with the system this morning. It came in thinking it was a 3 round fight. I'm gonna tell you something. It beat the brakes off of me for 3 rounds. For 3 rounds, it beat the brakes off of me. It beat me pretty good. But when the referee said round four and rang the bell, they weren't ready for that.
That's
From the
right.
fourth to the seventh, I told they behind up.
That's right.
Yes, I did.
Well, if it helps you in any way, I just want to let you know.
Uh-oh.
I am currently in a fight with my bed, and he got me a little dizzy. I'm seeing birds over here.
So
Not lamb. I ain't seeing no sheep. I'm just seeing birds over here fly around like circles, like I've been knocked out just a little. You know how do you get the stars knocked out of you?
yes,
That's what I
yes.
got. That's what I got going on right now.
So basically what I'm hearing you say toward you with a T, basically the winner is to be determined.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely not gonna win this one. If I go silent, I'm on the ropes.
you you're doing the rope dope. You're doing the rope dope. That's all that
That's
is.
right.
And Toya, I was explaining to our listening audience that today is Wednesday, Way Out Wednesday. We don't have a topic on Wednesdays. We actually talk about whatever we talk about on Wednesdays, open conversation, open dialogue. So Toya, let me ask you a question. What you want to talk about today?
I want to talk about this crappy service everywhere.
Mm, come on. Yeah, that is a problem.
Everywhere.
That is a
What the
problem.
hell is going on?
Hey, 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 hey.
Have anybody noticed they charging you more but selling you less?
Yes.
Everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Everywhere.
Absolutely.
On top of giving me the bottom of the barrel service. What is going on? Nobody
Mhm.
wants to say,
Mhm.
listen, I'm the customer. Without me, you don't get paid.
Exactly.
Why
Come
I
on.
can't get a hello when I come through the door? Why
Mhm.
I look like I'm bothering you?
Mhm.
I
Exactly.
just want to know.
Mhm. Come on.
Somebody let
Yep.
me know something. What is going on with the state of customer service in the world today? I cannot do it. I don't want to spend my money no more with people.
Mhm.
Gee whiz. What
Mhm.
is up?
Look here. You go in the restaurant. You want to take your make your order, something like that. And they hold on. Let me finish. I'm filing my deal. Let me finish filing my deal. I'll be with you in a minute.
Okay.
You can wait. You can wait. Oh,
Oh, they on their phone now.
yeah.
They on their
Yeah.
phone.
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
wait. I'm TikToking. Wait a second.
Mhm.
Without a greeting. Just standing there. You standing there. Ding dong. And they
Mhm.
just stand. You're not gonna say hello.
Exactly.
Hello.
Mhm.
Wait a minute. With my broom size eyelashes.
Mhm.
Wait a minute. Wait a
Mhm.
minute. With
And
this
Toy.
raggedy wig, 17,000 pounds of weave on my head going down to my ankle, sweeping the floor.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
over it, Raheem. Come on, man. I can't deal with it no more.
Mhm. And Toy, I'm gonna tell you something. They'll ask you this question. Mm. Did you want to order?
No. How the lady said the other day, she said, when you come to the drive-through, like me, she said, go ahead.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Mhm.
What?
Yeah.
What did you just say? Go ahead. Yeah, I'm finna go ahead right out the door. Forehead. What you mean,
Exactly.
go ahead? I
Mhm.
can't, Raheem. I cannot do it. I don't know. Maybe I'm old school. Maybe I'm being petty. I don't know, but I cannot. Listen, I can't. Mm-mm.
Mhm. See, but the thing is, we need more managers and stuff like that, like yourself, Toya. That's gonna make the standard or set the standards because a lot of these managers that they have in there, they don't care. They don't
They
care.
12. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
Mhm.
12. Like the 12-year-old teachers they hiring, and you wonder why the 12-year-old teacher having sex with the 12-year-old son or daughter, because
Mhm.
they 12 too. I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's
Mhm.
amazing to me. And these little children, I just got off the phone with my niece last night. She's 20. She said, well, you know what, Auntie? They got mental health days. I've never heard of mental health days at a job. I said, wait a minute. I said, how old are you? She said, I'm 20. I said, how long you been able to be in the workforce?
Mhm.
Well, I went on a lot of interviews. That is not what I said.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
said, how many years you've been in the workforce? 4. So what you know? Stop acting like you've been here long enough to know something. You
Mhm.
don't know nothing.
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
mean you ain't never heard of it? You ain't been able to work but 4 years. You only had 2 jobs. What you mean you ain't never heard of mental health days?
Mhm.
Right? Come on, which is true.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
never heard of it either. But like I
Mhm.
told her, when I was little, we had snow days. Like I had to break down to my baby girl the state of black people last night
Mhm.
because
Wow.
she was like, "Oh, Auntie, I want to go get a BBL. Do you know what that is? A
Mm.
fake butt. A
Yeah.
fake
Yeah.
butt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Girl, what is wrong with you? What is wrong?
Mhm.
Get off my phone, Auntie. What? I said, girl, what? I said, listen. I said, when is Martin Luther King's birthday? If you can't tell me, you ain't got no business talking about no fake. What? I said, y'all lost. She's like, Auntie, I don't think we lost. I said, tell me what Juneteenth is.
Mhm.
Okay, then tell me when the Emancipation Proclamation was created. Tell me what
Mhm.
president had the most influence in freeing black people. You don't know the answer, so why do you know about wanting a butt instead of doing the work? Sorry,
Mhm.
do the work, lazy. You don't
Mhm.
have to go nowhere and get your butt sucked for 5 hours to have a big butt. Do 17 squats a day, girl.
Mhm.
Like me and her was on the phone for hours last night, like just explaining to her why you need to be focused on who your local commissioner is instead of 17 inches worth of fingernails. I mean, I
Mhm.
can't. I can't just get. I can't, Raheem. I can't. I'm about to. I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself. I just can't deal with the state of today anymore.
Wow, wow. Let me go to Zamari. Zamari, what do you say about this? She's talking about customer service, and I love the topic because it's a dead art. It's a dead art. I see you smiling. What's on your heart?
Oh, I'm sitting there rubbing my baby's back. She just got up.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, I feel the same way because I hate it when we're going out to eat somewhere. I don't care if it's a drive-through or if we're being sat down somewhere to eat. But when you just act like you don't want to be there, or you're dismissive, or you're just like, oh, whatever, seat yourself, that kind of stuff. Like, I can't stand that either. I'm with Toya. I'm old school with that too. You come up to us if we're being seated. Come up to us. Hello, sir. Yada yada yada. Okay, let's sit you down. Serve me with a smile because that's going to make me want to spend my money.
Exactly.
So, if you're sitting me down and you're not giving that customer service with a smile, service with a smile, that used to be a thing, used to be a phrase, service with a smile. It's not anymore. We don't like going out. You know where we go? Yeah, girl, I see you. But you know where we go that we get that every single time? That bar that my husband was telling you about.
Chick-fil-A?
No, that bar, that biker bar.
Oh, okay. Got you.
We get that when we walk in there, and we know the girls there, and they are the sweetest things. I get hugs every time we go in there, and I love it. Right? Yeah, I do. They're so sweet. They're like my little babies. I love them. Yeah. But we get better service there than walking into an Applebee's.
Oh yeah. Applebee's, you're gonna wait. You're gonna hurry up and wait.
Yeah, so I'm with it. I'm with what Toya's saying, because if I'm going to go and spend my money somewhere, you better treat me like I'm the only customer in the building.
So. I have to tell you something. And I said it earlier, Chick-fil-A. Now, Chick-fil-A is good. Chick-fil-A is good. Chick-fil-A, go ahead, Toya. They're a 10? Yeah. Tucson, come to you next.
Phenomenal. I don't care when it comes to customer service. When you look up statistics, who is at the top of the line, it don't matter. Against airplane, against cars, against everything. Chick-fil-A is known number one across every industry.
Yeah.
Number one for the customer service, period.
Their customer, okay, because they're so good at what they do there. I just read a news article about, and I can't remember what state it was in, but they were actually having to basically tear down the Chick-fil-A and rebuild it because the lines were going out into the street because people love it so much. And those lines, honestly, even when they're really busy like that, they still move pretty fast. Like they are on their stuff.
Hey, listen, I just want to throw this number out there. The slowest Chick-fil-A, the slowest, still brings in $75,000 a week.
Yeah.
Oh, you're looking at $10,000 a day consistently, and they people only work 4 days a week. And I'm going to drop this last nugget. It is a Jesus infused franchise. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're amazing. I think they are the golden standard now. Yeah. And they've made themselves that golden standard. I almost effortlessly, I think. They just did it. They said, this is what we expect out of you. You're going to do it. End of story. And they do it. And I absolutely love them. But you don't get that going to McDonald's. You don't get that going to Arby's, Burger King, Wendy's. Any one of them that you want to name. Chick-fil-A is the golden standard. And I think a lot of these other corporations and franchises could learn a lot from them if they did it, took their model and used it.
You know what's crazy is the number that Toya just gave. And I know that Chick-fil-A make more money than all of those other restaurants that you just named. And the crazy part about all of this, they're not even open on Sunday. They give you a day. I'm not even open on Sunday. You still ain't gonna catch me. You go 7 days. I'm going 6. Catch me if you can. And they can. Nobody could touch them.
But wait a minute. But wait a minute, Raheem. when God said to seek him first, what he's going to do for you? What did he say he's going to do? What does he say he's going to do when you make sure that you seek him first? And they are showing it. Now, they don't have all of the best crews, right?
Yeah.
But they have the model and they follow it. So I'm just throwing it out there, honey. The difference between them and other restaurants, they require you to be married before you even operate it. They require you to work it before you even operate it. They require you, I hate to have to say it, y'all, they require you to pray before every shift. So there are some God qualities that's dug down deep in the root of Mr. Truett's Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
What about mom and pop place? I wish you would get service. You're going to get cussed out at a mom and pop place. Don't get me. Don't. You're going to get told, Mel, kiss my grits. Kiss my grits, Mel. Get your own bacon. That's what you're going to get at a mom and pop place. But no, for real. Chick-fil-A. The only other place you're going to find something even close to Chick-fil-A is if you come to a restaurant where I'm working at. That's it. That's the only, I promise you, that is the only other place you are going to find treatment like we're going to be in the dirty hood. And when you walk up in here, we're going to be the best French fry dropping, burger flipping hood folk you ever seen with a smile and some service. You ain't got no choice. But that's the standard. But yeah, no, a lot of people, they don't even care. A lot of customers, this new era, they don't even care about how you treat them. They don't care. They want to spend their money. They want something in return, and half of them don't even care what it look like, what they eat, none of that.
Wow, that's good. We got a couple of fellas on the phone. I got to get the fellas because ladies, y'all are doing it this morning. Y'all got this thing wired up already this morning. But this is Way Out Wednesday. This is Way Out Wednesday. Toussaint, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? Rico, coming to you next.
Man, I'm all right. I what's that echo? Good.
What you want to say about this customer service, brother? Or lack of customer service that we get?
Well, there you go, right there. You got a whole lot to say about it because I get ticked off. When I miss. Come on now, I don't have nothing to eat with. Is this finger food you done serve me? And here's the deal. We've been, I don't know, we're not all the way out of the pandemic, but you can't get back in the building because it's locked. And you didn't get my order right. Now I got to go. I'm at the door. I'm standing at the door. You gonna open this door?
You gonna make them open that door?
I'm gonna stand there and knock.
Wow.
And my wife, she'd be like, don't say nothing, don't say nothing, don't say nothing, don't say nothing. Because, they'll pee in your food.
Wow. Yeah, they will. They will.
I'm trying to tell you, they got some additives and preservatives. I went to I think it might have been a Wendy's or something. And when I got to the first window, nobody was there. So I'm going to use the biggest word I know. Proceeded to the second window.
Yes, sir.
You heard that? You liked that?
Yeah, I did. You did that, brother. You did that.
See there? I'm gonna look it up later. to the second door, and all of a sudden I heard he act like he came back up. What? Where's your manager? And he just is ignorant as the worker. Sir, she just started. I ain't got nothing to do with that. You should have trained her before you put her at the window. So when you say customer service, don't say that at the restaurant. I hate somebody to serve person next to me and reach over my food. Y'all ain't taught nothing yet. You ever seen that? You ever experienced that, right?
Yeah.
They passing the food for the next person over you. Now you got to take my plate back because your clothes and rub all in my food.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow.
I
Wow. See, y'all.
we
Y'all.
can't.
this
You gonna tick me off this morning, right here.
I see. I see. You done rubbed everybody. This customer service done rubbed everybody wrong this morning. Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Man, I can't complain. Just out here trying to enjoy and appreciate another beautiful new day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What do you want to say, Rico, about this? We're talking about customer. So, this is Way Out Wednesday, man. We jump all over the place today. We're going to talk about probably about 10 things today. But what do you think about this customer service situation, man, or lack of customer service? What is really going on?
Well, first, when you start talking about customer service, I think you have to understand what customer service means. And I think more than anything, customer service is supported by the idea of courtesy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the root of customer service is all around courtesy.
Mm-hmm.
So you're serving somebody. And then when you start thinking about courtesy, I heard everybody talking about Chick-fil-A and how, it set the standard. That's the key word. They set a standard of quality.
Mm-hmm.
And it's based off that courtesy. And that courtesy is actually from an everyday general rule of life, the golden rule. Treat people as if you would have them to treat you.
Mm-hmm.
And see, we supposed to carry that into everything we do. I don't care if we out here digging ditches.
Yeah. Yeah.
We at least got to throw the dirt somewhere to where if somebody drive down the road, they don't miss their car running through it. What if that was us driving down through there? So it's about servicing the customer, but some people don't understand what the customer is because they feel like they're being a servant. See, they hear customer service, and even though they know it sounds good, they'd rather fake it till they make it instead of being sincere.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people don't like being servants.
Yeah.
Some just don't sound right about that word.
Mm-hmm.
And service sounds too much something like what a servant would do.
Yep.
And I ain't fixing to serve nobody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's not what I do.
So now you try to actually adjust what customer service is to what you feel like doing personally, instead of thinking about the fact that you have to serve a product to these people. And if you were these people, how would you want it done to you? Would you want the person serving you to sit back and have you standing and waiting while other people are being seated? Would you want somebody to sit there and wait for utensils as their food is getting cold while you standing back looking at them, waiting on the next person instead of you going ahead and doing it because it needs to be done?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That standard of quality is what makes you successful. And Chick-fil-A is bringing that back because, this franchise restaurant thing might not be for like 40 or 50 years old.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these things that we looking at now, sometimes by us being born into it, we think it was here forever. But a lot of this we're doing is we're still in the baby steps mode.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why we're in so much chaos. So we got to get back down to the general purpose of kindness and the human existence and all this technology and man-made things that we do. We say this is Way Out Wednesday, but we can't get too way out talking about no Chick-fil-A and no restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
But I know some more customer service.
Mm-hmm.
Some people that if they don't do good customer service, it might cost you your life, and they call police officers.
Mm-hmm.
And those 5 police officers in Memphis, they didn't know too much about customer service.
Yeah, come on.
We ain't been talking about that, though. We've been beating around the bush.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's really talk about customer service. We finally gonna get way out because last Wednesday was Week Wednesday. I'm gonna tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get way out.
Mm-hmm.
Customer service is deeper than restaurants.
Oh yeah,
customer service is how you treat people. Period. When you have to serve them or protect them, or you have authority or rule, even as a judge, you still have a obligation to be courteous and extend that standard of quality, and also treat these people the way you would want to be treated, even if they are defendants, because they might be innocent.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're a police officer, they might be innocent. They might have a mama to go home to. Matter of fact, while you're beating them up, they might call for that mama. What if that was your son?
Mm-hmm.
So, when we talk about customer service, we got to dig a little bit deeper and then go in and think about why it's necessary and how it works and what is the outcome of it.
See, and
The
my thing
outcome
is,
of it is success.
see, my thing is this right here. I take the approach of how do you eat an elephant? How do you eat an elephant? And you have to eat that elephant one bite at a time. And so we started out talking about we started out talking about customer service, and we went down the line of a lot of different things, but we stuck on restaurants for a while. And there's certainly different areas, much like you said, police officers and stuff like that, judges. All this is customer service. All this has a play in customer service. But like I say, I want to deal with all sides of the coin. And so, to your point, the police officers that did what they did, how they did it, in the heinous act that they did it in, was absolutely terrible. We did talk about that when it first happened. We did talk about it. We actually extended the whole broadcast on talking about that situation, that particular situation, and how terrible it was. And it will always be terrible. And the reality of that situation is, we can't get that young man back. They can't. It's not like a video game where you push the reset button and come back and let's play again. You can't do that in real life. You cannot do that in real life. And so now they're in a situation. Now the family's in a situation. There's a child that lost their dad, a mother and a father that lost their son. Somebody lost their brothers, and whatever the case may be in that particular situation. They lost these people. And all because somebody didn't have the courtesy of giving a person the respect that they deserve as a human being. They didn't give them the respect that they need as a human being. And because of the fact that they neglected to do that, now this person is dead. Now, some people will want to say, well, they locked up for the rest of their life. Okay, they locked up for the rest of their life. And I don't want to be, I don't want to say like I don't have any passion or sympathy for that. But they're locked up because of the fact that they made a decision. The decision that they made was not a good decision. The decision that they made cost somebody their life. They can stand there and defend themselves about why they made that decision. Whether I'm going to agree with it, absolutely not. There's nothing they could tell me that would justify what they did. But the man that's dead don't even have an opportunity to stand up and speak for himself. He's dead. Zamari, what's on your heart, sis? I caught you off guard. You over there eating, huh? I caught you off guard, didn't I? Yep. Yeah.
I'm chewing. Yeah. What are we talking about? Because I've had to get up a couple of times.
Well, we're talking about the situation that happened in Memphis with the police officers. We're still talking about customer service, but we're talking now about how they had a lack of customer service and how they performed a disservice. The side of their police or their car and different police like that says to serve and protect. To serve and protect. They did neither with this young man in Memphis, Tennessee. They did nothing with it, nothing along those lines with him at all. They killed him. It was a murder.
Wait, is this the one with those 5 officers
Yes.
that beat that guy? Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm just making sure I know which one we're talking about here.
Mhm.
Well, it's like I said when we talked about that before, right? Like I believe that they were just out looking to target somebody and it didn't matter who it was or where it was. I mean, that's what I think just based on what I've seen and read, what I've read, because again, I don't watch the news. So, but that can happen in any community to anyone at any time, right? It's not right. They shouldn't do it, but it happens. It does happen, but and that is not about the police overall. That is about those individual officers making very poor decisions and doing something that goes against what that badge represents. So
my thing is, and I hear you, sister, and I hear your heart on it, but the reality of the situation too is it happens more often. It's multiplied in the Black community than it is in other communities. I say other communities across the board. You hear more stories about that happening, more people of color than you do across the board. I've seen situations where people that were not people of color that walked down the street with guns in their hands, and they did not get the same beating up the police. I saw this. I'm trying to pull this video up. I saw this one video where they stopped a young man. I say young man. He had to be about 60 years old, but they stopped him. 50, 60 years old. They stopped him. 2 police officers stopped him, a man and a woman. All of them was my Caucasian brothers and sisters. He fought them. He fought them and took one of the guns and reached for the gun and trying to grab the gun. They fighting back, trying to keep the gun. And he got in their vehicle. It was an SUV. He got in their vehicle and drove off. And he lived to tell the story.
Wow.
He to the point where, you know, they were fighting each other. They were physically fighting. He was beating, you know, he was getting the best of the man and the woman. And he got, and they talking about, don't take my car, don't get my, I'm gonna try to pull that video up. I want to show it. And he got in their vehicle, their SUV, and he drove, and they showed him driving off the road, and then they were just standing there watching. I don't think it would have gone that far had he been a black man. Truth of the matter. I hate to think like that, but truth of the matter is I see so many different examples of how people, you know, getting killed riding in their cars with their family and the family, a wife and the child in the back seat, and still get shot and killed. Go ahead, sister. You're about to say something.
No, and I hate these topics because they get so heated, right? And it's very hard to put in any other thought because people tend to just lean in one direction. So I try to be very sensitive with this because it's never my intention. I tell you that all the time. It's never my intention to upset anyone. But I see it on both sides. And let me ask you this, Raheem, do you think maybe that one is shown more and put in the spotlight more than the other?
When you say put in the spotlight, explain what you mean when you say that.
Do you think that media makes it a point to cover those stories where a person of color is being in those situations versus somebody who isn't? Do you think maybe it's like this, it's perpetuating it and putting it in your face and putting it in your face?
I can't say that the answer to that question is no. I can't say that it's yes or no, but what I can say is the media a lot of times, and we are part of the media, and I don't particularly care about the media, but we have to know that we are certainly a part of the media because that's what we do here. But my thing is this: they have to show what happens, and they have to give the example of what happens. And there's so many different examples of a black person, a person of color, getting mistreated in the hands of the law. And there's so many different other examples that they have where people that's not people of color has gotten away with so much more. Even if we want to talk, about it, we're not going to go down this road. But if we want to talk about the insurrection, some people say it wasn't an insurrection, but at the same time, you know, they were given so much leeway to the point that they was inside the Capitol building, man, feet up on the desk and all kind of different things, man. And I'm like, wow, you know, how much leeway, you know, how much space do you get?
I don't know, Raheem. I know that I've seen it on both sides. I get what you guys are saying, but I have seen it. I've seen stories that weren't covered like that, you know, where something of a very similar nature, that injustice was brought against someone that looks like me.
Yeah.
But it's not on the front page news.
Well, we're not going to say that it does not happen. We're not going to say that it does not happen. We're not going to go down that road and say that it does not happen. But
I'm just asking. Do we think that it's maybe I know that it happens more. Okay, I'm not blind to that. I know that it happens more. But I'm playing like devil. Let's just play devil's advocate here. That's what I'm doing. Like,
I don't like that word, but go ahead.
But you know, like, do we think that maybe it is just perpetuated just a little bit more, maybe just to put it out there, to keep those racial tensions going, to separate the communities, to get people to not trust their officers when you know they're not all that way. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm trying to get at.
But could I butt in? Because hold on. We can hold on just one second. Let me throw this out there. Maybe, and I'm coming to you next. Maybe it's because it actually happens more. Maybe it's because it actually happens more. But go ahead, Rico.
Well, you said it, you know, because I've seen it on both ends too, you know, but I think they show it the way in the proportions that it happens. And some of them may be more extreme. And then when you start uncovering certain things, that exposes the racism. That's the reason why it has to make the news. Like when you look at the Innocence Project and you start looking at the disproportionate number of black men who are being released and exonerated for crimes that they didn't do, then when you report that, you're going to see that it was racist. It was racially motivated in a lot of cases. For some reason, when you talk about the numbers of the prison population, all right, the numbers say what they say. The numbers say what they say, but now when they start labeling a certain demographic of people as this certain type of way, you know, you have to ask yourself, well, why did these numbers adjust? There was something behind that. So the media does the same thing. In some cases, they use it as what they call gaslighting, but in most cases, they got to report what's dominant. And when you uncover those type of things, when you uncover letters from Nixon's administration saying that the war on drugs was actually used to target black people, but the whole time they've been saying that this is what they don't do, it got to make the news because it shows you subconsciously that element exists in this country. So, you know, I don't think it's always gaslighting, but sometimes it is really just showing you an accurate description of what is going on over here. And so some people, you know, true enough, we see other instances, but we do have to know historically that it's going to be some bias and some entitlement, maybe a little access, exposure, or leniency based off your color. And what it is we really get tired of seeing it. And so that's what the big issue is. You know, a lot of people say, well, maybe they just playing the race card. No, maybe they just still showing you that it exists. And just like you said, maybe you didn't know it was going on because you're not from where it was going on. But guess what? We got a story to tell you about a guy named Ahmaud Arbery. And this happened 3 months ago. You get what I'm saying? We wouldn't have known about that had somebody not leaked the video 3 months later when it came out. So I don't really want to say that the media is playing a game, but they did put the news out there of this corruption in this judicial system in Brunswick that went all the way up to the DAs. Now, what type of black people stand a chance with that? When you can kill somebody and the people that's supposed to uphold justice pat you on the back and say, we're going to look out for you. We got your back. You ain't got nothing to worry about, buddy. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, you know, I was really, when I made the comment about the Memphis police, I wasn't trying to go in the direction of black and white because it's a human issue. And the reason why I brought that up, when we talk about courtesy and customer service, I had an interaction with a police officer yesterday. Man, I forgot I was on the phone with a police officer. This probably is maybe the 4th or 5th time in my life that I had an interaction with a police officer that actually acted more like a human than an officer.
Wow.
You can tell that when they put that uniform on, they didn't change into Superman. But they actually still remember that I'm a mother with a child at home that's doing these certain things. And that woman, she did a welfare check, a wellness check for me yesterday. And she was the kindest. Even though everything didn't work out, as a woman, she was like, you know what? I think she in there hiding. And we started talking, man, do you know I had to tell that woman that we need to get off the phone so she can go to work. I started finding out more about her life history. She understood what I was going through. I was like, man,
a human.
I got to pinch myself and remind myself that I'm talking to a police officer. You actually taking this time out to speak to me on a human level and relate. And then to show me you relate, you telling me about your daughter and how she got pregnant early and how she got started off on the wrong road and how hard it was to get her turned around and how the system is extorting these children from parents that should be trying to get them. Man, this woman talked to me for an hour on duty. Courtesy.
Look here.
She understood what was going on. She looked at the situation and listened, and she didn't go in as the big bad authority figure. Well, you know what? I don't want to hear what you got to say. And I mean, she told me about one time she had to take somebody to jail and she didn't want to, and she almost quit being a cop.
Wow.
Because she knew that the man didn't deserve to go, but based on the rules that she had
Bless
to take him to jail,
Mm-hmm.
and she knew that there was another way it could have been handled,
Mm-hmm.
but they didn't allow her to do it that way. She had to take this man to jail, and she knew which kind of situation she was putting him in. But
Wow.
she said the only reason she decided to remain a police officer is because she wanted to be one of the few.
Yeah. 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 That's good. Human. She was human. Let me go to Badger. Badger, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
What's on your heart,
Another
brother?
beauty. I'm loving what Rico was just saying. There are
Mm-hmm.
humans in the force,
Mm-hmm.
but there's also a lot of them that's been brainwashed too,
Mm-hmm.
and that's an unfortunate truth. They're normally pushed more to one side than the other.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to, it's almost like when it comes to customer service, there's these stereotypes that are pushed on to control the mindsets. And unfortunately, that's the society we live in.
Mm.
Like talking about restaurants earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the restaurants I go to are mom and pops.
Mm-hmm.
Never an issue. Never bad service.
Wow. You went to some good ones then, because like I said, I've seen both sides of that coin, brother. I've definitely seen both sides of that coin. Some, oh yeah.
So it's just you never know until you speak to them,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the scary part. You never know if
That's me. Mm-hmm.
that cop's going to be a good one or a bad one.
Mm-hmm.
If that cop's going to believe all the stereotypes or if they're going to be a human.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I love the story that Rico just shared.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
And
explains our current situation.
mm-hmm. And there are some good ones in every field. There's some good, there's some bad. You know, it depends on the encounter. Like you said, it depends on the encounter and what you have. Let me go to Goddess. Goddess, good morning, young
Oh,
lady. How you doing this morning? Did you finish your thought, Badger?
no.
Okay, go ahead.
I've been watching more studies lately, and it's crazy because I mentioned brainwashing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about customer service. More people are taught to focus on the bad and not the good.
Mm-hmm.
And I take something like that and observe how society treats itself.
Mm-hmm.
Just food for thought.
That's good. That's good. Goddess, good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning? Oh, hold on. She has some background noise. I got to mute. Okay. You had some background noise. That Goddess had your line muted. Okay, let's try this again. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Morning Glow family.
How's everything going with you?
Um, everything is going great.
Okay. Okay. Good. This is Way Out Wins. This is what's on your heart. We're talking about customer service or lack of customer service. How do you feel about that? Is customer service just terrible? Is it a lost art?
I ain't gonna say it's a lost art, but what I will say is that we're dealing with a different type of in a time frame that is totally different, and what we're expecting. And if we don't try to make a change or try to, I don't know, basically it's not going to ever be the same because the people that we deal with are not the same. And I was calling in because I was hearing about the police and
Mm-hmm.
some of the things that was going on regarding the customer service on their behalf. And right now I listened to a couple of different conversations. Right now, our police department, we have to turn back and realize it's not always about our police department. It can be our FOP, Fraternal Order of Police, where they have a certain agenda that is set. And it's not, and we have to go back and look at what the police department was originally from. It was from slave patrol. That's
Mm-hmm.
how they originated.
Mm-hmm.
And the Fraternal Order of Police is basically who runs the police departments from behind. And they have an agenda, and that agenda is not for minorities. It never has been, it will not be in the future. And until we get qualified immunity, uh, uh, removed, uh, people will still continue to do what they do because, remind you, I don't care, black, white, or whatever, people are being killed over not even major violations. These are just minor incidents. You know, tail light being out, not giving your ID quick enough. These are not even violent crimes or people that are being pulled over and being killed. So those are the key things that we need to look at. You know, so what type of customer service is that? And we're paying them to kill us.
Wow.
Nobody's looking at that. So that's why they talk about attacking the police budget. You know, who wants to pay somebody to kill you? You know, what type of agenda are you really on? Who's running? You know, we have several instances where the whole department is corrupt. If you watching here in Kansas, you know, we have a serial killer. There's a detective named Galupski. He's placed half of the people in jail, wrongful conviction, because he, you know, he would threaten the women and be like, if you don't give me sex, then I'm gonna take your son to jail. That's what was happening. He was a serial killer. He was killing women.
Wow.
And this is where we had Rock Nation come in. And not only did they not convict this man yet, he's still on trial. And he was able to be let go and go home. So we're still getting people being killed who can't, older people that can't even come in and testify. We still got people that's in jail. So, yes, it is. And then it has something to do all the way up the ladder.
Wow. That's good. That's good. Let me go to Joseph. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning. And good morning, Morning Glow family. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good, brother. What's on your heart right now?
Well, I was listening to the reflections on police officers, and you know, I watched the situation unfold down in Memphis and in California with the double amputee who was shot trying to run away.
Yeah.
And couldn't understand that.
Now,
Couldn't wrap my mind around that.
Did he pass?
You know,
I don't know whether he passed. Did he pass? I don't know whether he passed or not.
Yeah, they shot him. They killed that man.
Yeah, I didn't know whether
They
he
murdered
that.
him
Yeah, I saw
in
the
cold
video.
blood.
Yeah, I saw that. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, they murdered him cold blood. I was a military policeman, for 7 years, 3 months. Went through the same kind of training academy, and you know, was taught how to apprehend people, how to use the amount of force necessary to apprehend or subdue people, man. And you know, and just to see the level of just reckless conduct on the part of those officers. They could have used a rope or anything to hold that man still. He couldn't run far. Where could he go? He couldn't go far. But they instead of using the necessary energy to subdue the man, they just shot the man dead. Of course, you know, he comes from the marginalized group of people who, according to the Constitution, were only 3/5 of a person. And by him being an amputee, it was less than that for him. But that's the kind of sickness in the minds of some police officers. I thank God all of them are not like that. And you know, we can't approach policing from the position of that we don't have any power or control. Say, for instance, here in Clayton County, we're about to elect a new sheriff. And there's a lot of people who are not even aware that there's going to be an election March 21st to elect a new sheriff, because our sheriff, you know, is about to be sentenced to jail here in a few days.
Good Lord.
And he's trying to handpick his successor, who only has 5 years of law enforcement experience. He wants this man to be the next sheriff of Clayton County, Levon Allen. Well, this is where we have to do our due diligence and elect the right people. Right now, we've had 3 people get killed in the jail in Clayton County. That should not be.
Mm-hmm.
That's unacceptable. And if the voters in Clayton County, out of the 178,000 active voters that mainly go out and vote, there's going to be a very low turnout on March 21st. And the insiders are counting on this.
Mm-hmm.
But here's where we have to do our due diligence. We can't just let anybody sit in that seat, because then they call me, the activists, and the rest of us, all of us throughout the metro Atlanta area, to come down and protest when one of them kill somebody from the community. That's not how you do this. We have authority to control some of these local police departments,
Mm-hmm.
to determine the tone that's set by the chief in that department, how many to determine if the department reflects the demographics of that area. We have the power to make sure that department reflects us.
Hey, Joseph,
So yeah.
what does this mean to you? We the people, in order to,
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That part right there.
Mhm.
That part. Yeah. Don't abdicate your power and your responsibility. Don't say they won't let me do this. We are they.
Mm-hmm.
We are the one who. Don't say that. Look in the mirror. I have been to chief police after chief police, judges, sheriffs, and we've sat there in front of them and correct stuff behind closed doors, or when we protest or sue them, because we've sued them too, we get the job done. It's not about they, we the people. We have power over this. And we're paying for it with our tax money.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pay you to oppress me. I'm not going to pay you to kill my grandkids. I'm not going to do that. That's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Tucson, are you still with us? Think we just lost Tucson there. Let me go to Z. Zamari. There you go.
I'm here, baby. I'm sorry, I'm texting too, so
What happened?
I'm just texting.
Okay, cool. We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, insecure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our prosperities. Do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Are those true words that as a whole we're living by here in this United States of America?
Okay, so I'm going to be honest with you. Sometimes I suck at listening to people read and it doesn't register perfectly, right? Like I process better seeing it for myself. Is that a statement regarding like an officer's oath, or is it America as a whole? What is that statement concerning?
The United States, just the preamble.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's our basis, right? That's what it's supposed to be. But we being humans, we mess it up constantly because we see somebody who or encounter someone who thinks differently than us, dresses differently than us, looks different than us, whatever it is. And so there's always some sort of tension, and we're fighting against that very thing that our forefathers attempted to create, which is that unity, complete unity. And if we ever get there, and I hope to God that we do, but until we do, I think right now that statement is not entirely true.
the United States of America, United States of America, where we are right now, and I pray that we get there as well. My heart is with you on that. I pray that we do. But right now, in this day and time, United States of America, is that allowed? The united part?
No, we're divided.
Yeah, yeah.
We're a country very divided, and it's awful. I hate that. I
Mhm.
hate seeing that because I don't give two rats behind who you are, what you are, you
Mhm.
know, et cetera, et cetera. If you are a good human being, that is all I see. You
Mhm.
treat me well, I'm going to treat you well. If you're a jerk, you just keep on walking because I ain't got time for you.
Mhm.
I don't care. But so many people in this day and age, they put stock in everything else except that. Because we all have our groups, we all have our cliques, and that's fine. You can have those people that those are your people. That is who you vibe with. That is who you get along with. That is who you rely on and can trust without a shadow of a doubt. I understand that. We all have that, right? But
Mhm.
outside of that, we should just look, these other countries eventually are going to stomp the crap out of us
Mhm.
because it says what? United we stand, divided we fall.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. Toya, what you talk to me? United States of America. Would we ever? Do you think that it'll ever happen? Whereas we would be united and fight together as one.
We
Or do
already
we?
do that. We already do that. We might not do it together.
Mhm.
Brothers and sisters live in the same house and fight all the time. It'd be more chaotic in somebody's house with family than it does on the outside. But let somebody come bomb them Twin Towers. We finna show you how united we is. Let somebody pull up over here and make us think that somebody gonna do something we don't care nothing about. No discombobulation. I promise you, we're gonna get united. So at the end of the day, we got to think about when you're talking about corporations. All corporations have bylaws.
Mhm.
And that's what the Constitution is. Every household got rules.
Mhm.
Every leader come with rules. And when it comes to the United States, they put these set of rules because they're a corporation, like bylaws to abide by. And keep in mind, at that time, Black people were not thriving as much as we are now. There were some who were in decent places. John Henson, who was one of the first Black presidents that actually
Mhm.
signatures on that Constitution,
Mhm.
right? They
Mhm.
decided to get together for their group of people. You know how the managers get together and the managers got their group of rules and make their group of rules, but then the people down below, you've got to follow the rules, but they don't have to
Mhm.
follow the rules.
Yeah,
That's what this
yeah.
is. So I think we're united on United States values. I think we're
Mhm.
united on United States constitutional issues. That's the only place where we're united.
Mhm.
Our governmental front, our systematic agendas, our revolutionary development with making sure that we're the most powerful. There are a lot of things that the United States of America are united on. That
Mhm.
stems from gathering all these collections of states on this massive land that they came and stole.
Mhm.
Then they started to break it down, and those people became united with the idea of what the United States wanted to do. So when it comes to the people, again, that wasn't the focus of the United. That wasn't the
Mhm.
focus. That wasn't what they were talking about. They were talking about
Do you
outside force.
do you think that a lot of the acts of God that happen in the weather, the bows breaking and all that stuff in New Orleans, all the different things like acts of God, tornadoes, hurricanes, and things like that. Do you think that's a way of Him telling us or showing us that we can come together and we can work? Because I saw people of all colors, man. When certain hurricanes and something like that hit, I see people of all colors, man, come together and working together, united to let's get past this. Let's get you need something, okay, and they look out for each other. But I've seen other selfish people as well that say, I got to keep this for myself. But and so there's both sides of the coin. I like to deal with both sides of the coin. But a lot of times, what happens when there's what people say is a catastrophe that happens, people, Twin Towers, when that happened, people came together.
Disaster.
People came
Yeah.
together. And so it is possible, but why can't we live it? Why can't we live it instead of let that just be a place that we visit every now and then?
I mean, the same way why when we were just talking about restaurants, people don't work together. That's something that needs to be trained and taught, just like school.
Mm-hmm.
You might teach your kid at home, but just because they go to school don't mean they're going to sit down and listen to the teacher on their own. That has to be
Mhm.
taught.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to us living in America, we are united in our own little way. The KKK united in their own little way. The Bloods is united in their own little way. Families are united in their own little way. When you look at the United States, that's a whole different ball game.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're still talking about a corporation that
Yeah.
shares the same values that operates our country.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? It's
Mhm.
different when you're talking to individuals because we get to the Constitution allows me freedom of speech, freedom
Mhm.
of different things. So therefore, when I get with my clique, we can share and be united on different values. So again, we're talking about levels to this. We're talking about the level in which China, Russia, United States, those people are united on how to run and operate their countries, what they want the rules to be, right? And we're the people, we're the workers, we're the little workers who are issued out the laws and the directions and the standards and the policies and procedures, and we are to follow them.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we can't get along because, so for instance, when you go to work, even though you're all team, there's different positions. You got the employee workers, you got the management, you got executive management. That's a
Mhm.
form of division.
Mm-hmm.
But it's only going to be divided if the head of the company doesn't make sure they infiltrate and make sure, okay, even though you're a different position, this is still a standard.
Mm-hmm.
See,
That's good.
America doesn't operate like that. America
Mhm.
operates as, and I hate to have to throw this out here, white people. I'm sorry. I love you, Z, before I say it. I'm just going to be honest, right? The standard was white was right, and they ran everything for a whole heap of years when they built this country. They were the
That's
faces
a long
of
time. That's a long time when somebody say heap. A heap of years. A heap. That's a long.
heap of
That's a long
years.
heap.
Long time. They
Yeah.
were the face of America. They were operating America. They were running America, right? So, I mean, the premise was not to operate America where at that time the Indians were united.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? The premise was to divide them because what they say, divided we stand, united we stand, divided we fall.
Yes.
So, of course, it was, you can't run stuff if they're together.
Mm-hmm.
You can't infiltrate if they're on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
So again, the division is used as a tactic when it comes to operating a corporation. Somebody
Mhm.
said it earlier. It might have been Badger. I didn't really get where he was going, but you're brainwashed, you're influenced to buy certain things, you're influenced to work for 725, you're influenced to sign your name on the military's dotted line and die for them. Even if you made it back, they wouldn't give you a crumb. You understand?
Mhm.
So there are formulas and techniques that they use to keep us divided, so they can't stay united, because if we ever became united, we would not need them.
Exactly. Stay right there, preacher. Stay right there, preacher. Let me go to look at she over there clapping and everything. Let me go to Tucson. Tucson, have we been bamboozled?
Yeah, this is way out Friday or Wednesday. I think it's Friday.
Good Lord. Puff, puff,
I'm-
puff,
y'all
puff,
had
pass, brother.
7 conversations
Puff,
this
puff,
morning.
pass.
7. Y'all had 7 conversations.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
morning.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to catch up. But I mean, a lot of people are. When you say we, I don't know who we is because I don't get involved in the we.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because the whole country jacked up. we, if you gonna say it, because I'm here,
Mm-hmm.
don't know whether we coming or going.
Exactly. Come on.
Because it's a how can I say this? It's a dictate. It's somebody controlling the narrative,
Mm-hmm.
and we believe that the narrative is true, and it ain't. But yeah, bamboozled by some, yeah. Because and then when you start going back to the original conversation, you look at how people operate and look at what's happening with our kids.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even know how to work. But they want to go to work. But they don't want to do nothing. I heard one young man at job say, they pay me to come here.
Mm. Wow.
But sir, you got to show up and do something.
Mm-hmm.
Because see, subcontracting companies pay a company to hire employees to work at that company. But the subcontractor gets paid a lot more than the workers.
Mm-hmm.
So the workers do a search, and they feel like they should get that money. They feel like they're being cheated. Maybe that's so. Maybe that's so. I don't know. But the attitude when they show up for work is, you're not giving me what I deserve, so I ain't doing nothing. But I sure will come.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when you get to and that goes for the police department too, because they're underpaid.
Mm-hmm.
You want them to do a good job, but man, they risking their life for pennies.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they scared just like you. You get pulled over, they know that they enemy number one. What you expect? They're not there to protect and serve, because that never happened. You got some, not everybody. For the most part, you hire criminals. That little boys that got beat up when they was coming up, some of them, not all of them, and they feel like to turn the tables, they're gonna be an officer
Mm-hmm.
and just get their chance to get back at somebody. And I'll say this, and I'll go into my corner. And the attitude when y'all gonna have to excuse me, because I'm gonna go ahead and say it. And
Don't you say it. Don't you say it. Don't you say it. Don't you? No, go ahead, brother. Go ahead, say it.
The attitude is, I wish a nigga would.
Hey, yeah, go on over in that corner, brother. Get your behind on over there. Don't go past go. Get your behind over there. Look, right now. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? Go Tucson done. Lord Jesus.
Yeah, man. I go back to what you were saying about unity. Can it happen?
Mm-hmm.
And we in a state right now as well. We'll say whatever we need to say to justify what we're doing at that moment in time. So it's like we have two different sets of rules and cliches that go by.
Mm-hmm.
You hear things like the preamble and the Constitution and this and that, but then you come back and hear other people say, what's the number one rule of life? Self-preservation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So which one is it? Is it group or unity or community, or is it self-preservation? Because what we see now is self-preservation on steroids. Somebody done took it a little bit too far.
Yep.
And they will only think about being unified when it benefits them. Oh, I wonder if I join this organization, could I rise through the ranks and become president and add this to my resume of accomplishments on my way to being great and leaving my name to be recognized throughout history?
Mm-hmm.
I remember I went from a majority black school to a majority white school when I was young, man. And I had a white teacher taught graphic arts. He was cool. Real cool dude, but I still always, you have type of person that have to prove to me that you ain't this type of person, knowing that I know the history of what's been going on. And I thought he pretty much had proved it to me. He didn't say anything racist, but he said something that was sort of inhumane to me. And I thought the world of this man. He said, what do you do when you see a man down? And we grew up always hearing that you lift them up. Whenever you see somebody down, you lift them up. He said, my daddy told me whenever you see a man down, you put your foot on his back.
Good Lord.
That was from a school teacher, man. Somebody that leads and motivates and guides and responsible for me being graded and saying whether or not I could pass that class successfully. whether I accomplished everything that was required for me to accomplish to pass that class. He was the determining factor.
Mm-hmm.
And he believed in putting his foot on somebody's back when they was down. Telling me subconsciously, it's a dog eat dog world out here, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
You better be prepared for it. All this good talk about unity and being together and humanity, man, it's a whole nother side to this.
Mm-hmm.
My daddy told me. And he proved it. He proved that it was just exactly the way that he said it. So you see what's going on. It's a matter of people really getting the understanding of the benefits behind unity, the benefits behind the standard of quality, the benefits behind courtesy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they may see success in one way and it feels good to them. But you know how some people don't even realize how good it feels to see others win, or how to just give or celebrate other people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we live in a world now where we are made to subconsciously compete against each other. And that mindset over here, because it's mainly, I'm going to be honest with you, this is a mainly American thing. It has us competing with each other, not celebrating each other. And it's trickled all the way down to black men.
Mm-hmm.
Black men size each other up.
Yeah.
The minute we walk in the room, we go to sizing each other up and comparing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes we might receive them in a good way, but we sizing them up. We doing just like women do. You know, when women look at a man's shoes and his fingernails and all that to see how he carries himself, men do the same thing, comparing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's to the point now that when we watched a man last night make history, and you know, the first thing I heard, just like when Kobe died, the first thing I heard was a debate about who the GOAT was between other black men.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the GOAT? Who was the GOAT? Who was the GOAT? Which one the best? Why did we pit Martin Luther King and Malcolm X against each other?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they did. And they did. Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, so that division, you ask, can we have that unity, man? We can't even do it within our community because there are too many things that we want to achieve in this American dream that has us thinking about a self-preservation mindset, even though we know we need this unity, even though we make issues about what's going on in our community. When it goes down, or when it comes down to the fact of what we want to do to be successful or comfortable or happy or just to receive some pleasure, we throw all that out the window and start thinking about ourselves. So when we start talking about these cops and these judges and these doctors that don't heal people or diagnose people correctly because they need them to keep coming to get this treatment, or these pharmaceutical companies is overcharging for their medicine and they still not healing people, but they just treating them so they can keep on making a good dollar. It's a dog-eat-dog world. So
it is.
I don't know if unity is going to ever be accomplished when we need this currency to survive.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. And that's always going to be money, evil, and greed is always going to be the root of where we sit. And unless or until we take those out of the equation, it's going to always be a dog-eat-dog world. Unless we take those out of the equation, it's going to always be a dog-eat-dog world. Badger, what's on your heart? And God is coming to you next.
All the things Toya said earlier about brainwashing,
mm-hmm.
and then everything Joseph was saying about we the people. Do y'all know what petitions are?
Absolutely.
So we the people can do petitions. If there's 100,000 votes on them, it's got to go to they have to look at it and they have to respond.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the power to unite and deal with a lot of the issues that we have. The part that always threw me off is there was a petition to create a Death Star.
Mm-hmm.
Why do more people sign a petition for things like that and not against police officers that are corrupt, or judges that are corrupt, or politicians that are corrupt? So there are laws that we the people can use to deal with the issues of today. That's something that's always blew my mind. I've tried starting a few petitions, And they're like, what's it about? And I tell them what it's about, be it systematic racism or one of the corrupt officers that are in my local area or things like that. And it's almost like they're afraid to sign it.
Mm-hmm.
But let a tornado wipe out our town and everyone to come together all of a sudden. I always get the impression that there are those of us that are willing to fight, and then there are those that live in fear, or they believe whatever is on media without doing the actual research.
Wow.
Or they look through life through rose-colored glasses.
Mm-hmm.
We are individuals inside of a bigger country. And as long as we keep fighting one another, how are we going to deal with these corrupt people?
It is by design. I think it's by design, Badger, that there's certain element that want us to continue to fight each other.
So
they want us to continue to fight each other. They want us to continue to be bumping heads with each other, because if I got you fighting over here, you're not seeing what I'm doing over there.
Right. So like the Trump and Hillary Clinton thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hillary Clinton won popular vote.
Mm-hmm.
Trump got put in there by the Electoral College.
Okay.
That can give the impression our votes don't count, right? The impression.
The impression, yeah.
Guess who elects who's in the Electoral College? We do.
Mm-hmm.
So we decide who's in our Senate. We decide who's in our House. We decide who the president is no matter what. We have the power. We just need to make sure people are taught that we have the power, not them.
Good deal. Good deal. Goddess, what's on your heart, sis? Goddess, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Talk to me. What's on your heart?
The question was about unity. I don't
Yes.
think we're ever going to be unified.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have every type of president. We didn't have a black president that never changed in the Constitution or amend the Constitution that we were not 1/3 black.
Mm-hmm.
We have to turn around and look at the real situation. We will never change it because it will always be a group of people that are upset because of who we are as on a DNA basis. The fact that our DNA is different from theirs. A black person, Afro-American, or whatever you want to call yourself, whoever we mate with, we are able to continue to grow. We're the only person that can mate and continue to grow who we are as people. We can mate with a white person, Chinese person, they all gonna come out with black. They cannot do that on a DNA structure. They have to mate with a white person in order to make a white person.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one reason why, if you look through history, when we were always hung, all our black men are always hung, 99% of them was castrated. See, you have a group of people that they couldn't use their I guess you would say penis to build in the world, so they used the gun to exterminate the world. And that's always been the fight. And until you look at what the fight is, that's always been the fight. That's why they, right now, here today, population control, from the foods to the shots to everything, all because of one thing, that DNA. So
man, I'm lost, man. Oh, man, I'm lost, Raheem. I'm lost, man.
Go ahead.
I'm lost.
How are you
I tried to listen, but I'm lost. I'm trying to find. I'm trying to relate this to what's going on.
Hold on. One at a time. One at a time. Excuse me. Hold on. Both of
Unified.
y'all.
We will
both-
never be
Goddess,
unified due to
Goddess.
our DNA.
Goddess, hold on. Both of y'all.
Okay.
Both of y'all. Hold
That's
on.
what
For a
I'm trying
second.
to get.
Okay, both of y'all hold on. We can't do that because both of y'all talking. Ain't nobody gonna hear nothing. It's gonna be a lot of noise going on. Go ahead, Rico. You wanted to ask a question about.
Yeah, she just clarified it. She just clarified. I didn't get it at first, but now she finally came on out and said it because I couldn't get what she was headed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we will never be lost due to our DNA. We will never be unified due to our DNA, because there's a group of people that is upset, and it has always been like that.
Let me ask you the
They've
question, God.
hung,
Let me
they've hung
Goddess. Let me ask you,
every race of
Goddess,
people, but they
Goddess,
never castrated them. But the black men, they castrated them.
Goddess. Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
And I'm asking you personally this question: Do you want to be unified?
Do I want to be unified?
Yes.
Only with people that accept people for people. But that's a rarity right there. And I'm not, I mean, it doesn't matter to me whether, because we still got our own people that walk around in a black face, they put on a white face.
Okay.
They turn around and hate us ourselves.
Okay. Hold on, sis. So is the answer to your question no, yes or no?
I say I would like for a group of people, it's with the minds of the same liking minds, that we're worried about growing and loving people and moving forward together, and then we're not looking at people as a issue. We're looking at it as that we're trying to grow together and learn from each other.
So basically,
and love
with
each other.
with the definition that you said and the condition that you put out there, your answer will be no.
No, my answer is yes. I want to be unified, but the truth of the matter is no. We'll never be unified.
Okay, no, that's not my question, sis. I'm gonna say, do you want to be? Not whether we ever will be, but do you want to be? And you gave an answer, and I appreciate that you did give an answer to my question, but you gave an answer with conditions, and with those conditions that you placed on there leads me to believe that your answer is no.
Because I have to answer in reality.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody want to live in this make-believe world.
Okay.
And I can't live in a make-believe world.
That's fine,
I have to live in the world that we live in.
Sis, that's fine. Let me get,
and I can't go shunning who I am.
Goddess,
what
I have
the
to pour.
Is.
Goddess, I don't want to mute you, sis,
So
but Goddess.
Goddess,
I said I was trying to tell you I didn't want to have to mute you, sister, but I got to go to other people. We got other people here. We got about 15 people on here. I got to, be fair to everybody. And no disrespect to you, but I got to be fair. You answered the question. I definitely appreciate that. Let me go to Toya with a T. What's better yet? Toya with a T. Then I'm going to Tucson. Toya, what's on your heart? Toya.
Yeah, what was the question that you had asked?
I asked our sister, did she want to be unified? Did she want a place of unity?
Yeah, right. You asked her that because you were asking, did we want to be unified, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So I don't think we want to be, because we just don't.
Mm-hmm.
When you want to be on a team, you want to be on a team. We unified when it comes to football, in a specific team. We unified when it comes to tragedy. We don't want to be unified.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Because if we did, that's what we would do. First and foremost, if we're not unified in our homes, how the heck we gonna go out any place else and think we're gonna cause anything unification?
Mm-hmm.
We can't. We can't even keep the daddies that we having babies by. And this ain't got nothing to do with race.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say nothing about a race. I said we women, because I'm a woman.
Mm-hmm.
We can't even keep the relationship going to keep our daddies in the house. So how we gonna be unified? We can't even operate civil households. How we gonna be unified? Once we go to school, how we gonna be unified? Because we mad at the teachers because the teacher told them something different than you. Like, it's what you said. We don't want to be unified. It's always something. We can't even answer a question. That's the thing that really gets me. We can't even be unified on your show because we cannot work together. We do not respect the next person, the next caller, the next speaker. We want to interrupt each other. If we don't say what the other person want to say, you get now, I don't want to talk to you. Oh, it's an argument because we don't see things the same way. We're on a simple talk show that nobody gets paid for, honey. Ain't nobody on here but us, and we can't do simple unification steps on this show. So how can we go out here and do it in any other capacity? So it's like I said, we got all the opportunity. Ain't nothing between us and in the middle of us and united, but space and opportunity. We refuse to do it because we all want to be right. We all want to be the king. We all want to be the queen. We always want to cut somebody else. We not comfortable with just who we are. Just lead you. And once you leave, you'll get with other like-minded people, and we could be unified. But with simple stuff on this show, we know that we talk to each other. We know it's 3 minutes, and we can't do that in solidarity. We cannot do that respectfully to the host. But you think that in any other form, shape, or capacity where your social skills are needed, that we're going to be able to do so? No. So whenever we talk about unification, just simply take a moment and look at all of us on this show and look how we go back and forth, simply because we're not all robots.
Mm-hmm.
We're not all thinking on the same wavelength. I'm still going to love you. Listen, let me tell you something. If you feel like you want to be a certain color and don't like me, I'm cool with that. I'm still going to love you. I'm just not going to fool with you.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? If you're hurt, I'm still gonna hurt you. I might have an issue like, yeah, but you didn't like black folks though, right? Yeah, well, let me help you up. And if you decide to lay down on that floor and say that you don't want my help because you got an issue with me, you know what I'm saying? Then that's still on you. I'm willing to be united. You feel what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, when it comes to us in America, I'm not talking about all these other places. We united when we go to games. We united when we have sex in bedrooms. But when it comes to simple conversations and handling business, it's always an issue because nobody wants to stay in their lane.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's good. That's good. Toussaint, talk to me. And we got another caller. Go to the caller. Toussaint, what's on your heart?
I learned to use what I have the most. And my dad said to me, son, you got one mouth and two ears. And there's a reason. Lord have mercy.
Yeah, you went there. Yeah, you went there.
I have to apologize on my wording because I don't, there are some words that I try to avoid, but I put one out there this morning that I should never have. So I must apologize for that. I used the N word. Yeah, I did.
I heard you.
Yeah, you heard me. I went right on to the corner early this morning. So I think that this morning, and I'm gonna say it again, we've talked about several things. We have an issue in this country that we do more talking than listening. And the product of our actions is our children. So when you kind of get this gumbo of conversation and put it together, you see what we have created. Confusion. It seemed like to me that it helps us when we get in a disaster to realize what we really need, each other. Every once in a while, I believe that we are shown that you can pull together.
Yeah.
So I'm going to cause this to happen out of your control to let you know that you're actually not in control. You can't control the wind. You can't control the weather. You can't control conditions. You can't control people. And we try to do that every time. So there's a whirlwind that comes up. And we like, everybody's in a panic. Help me. Oh, yes. Hey, how are you? Are you doing okay tonight? You know, I lost my home too. I can't get no more. After Katrina, the rich man and the well-to-do man and the poor man couldn't go to the ATM and get no more than $300. Your house was in the river, and mine was too.
Yeah.
We was in the same line looking for something. The Salvation Army was passing out food to all of us. And we were smiling at each other. Now here we are, 18 years later. I think it might be. I might have got my numbers wrong. Don't personally. It was I think it was 2005. I don't know. It's 2023. I can't add that quick. But whatever the case may be, we're right back to normal. We got our houses, we got our cars, we got our things, and we right back where we started from.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what it's gonna take? Another disaster to get us together. They were together when they bombed the World Trade Center. Oh boy, we love each other.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with us?
Great.
I don't know. Maybe we're talking over the one that wants us to listen to him.
Wow.
Almost ran out of breath trying to get that sentence out.
But you got it out, though, brother. You got it out. Zamari, what's on your You got it out. Zamari, what's on your heart, sis?
I'm gonna cry right now. That's what he said. I don't know. It struck me a certain way because he's like, "What's wrong with us?" But it's just the way he said it. Like, I don't know, Tucson, but that just sounded like there was some pain behind that right there. But it's true. What's wrong with us? It shouldn't take disasters or anything on some large scale like that for us to realize we can love each other. Love thy neighbor, right? It shouldn't take those things for us to come together. And it's like I said in the chat here, like, we can have our disagreements. We can even argue amongst each other, right? But we should still love one another. And it's about that level of respect. And the whole point in creating these conversations, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Raheem, but I think for you, the point of creating these conversations is to create change.
Yes.
To expand our minds. And that's what I take from this. I don't ever walk away from any one of these conversations less than I was before. I always walk away with some sort of growth afterwards because I've opened my mind to that. I try to stay very open-minded because I want to learn. I want to grow. I want to develop into the very best human being that I can be. And I can't do that if I'm closing myself off and all that matters to me is my own voice and my own opinion and my own way of thinking. You can't step into a job with whatever limited knowledge that you have and go, I'm good. I don't need you to train me. I don't need whatever information or teaching you can give me. I already know it all. Because they know something you don't, and they can give you a different skill set, maybe within that you don't have, that's going to make you, enable you to perform better at your job. So I just hope that somebody hears that and takes something from that.
Exactly. Leonard, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem, and the Morning Glow family.
Hey, good to have you with us, brother. We, the people of the United States of America, in order to form a more perfect union, are we interested in forming a more perfect union as a whole?
Some of us are.
As a whole.
Some of us are. And some of us are not. And it's evident at behavior. You watch behavior. You familiar with states' rights? Those are people not interested in a more perfect union.
Wow.
You understand?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, there are a lot of, about people that don't vote and don't participate. They're not interested in a more perfect union. I know a lot of people like that. Matter of fact, there are so many people like that. That is what is hindering progress. There are some people that still want to be separated by color. Ain't that something else? Ain't that something else in 2023? That there are some people that still seek separation through color. Some people believe it'll be better if the other colors of the world disappear and it's just one color. Those people are not interested in a more perfect union. There are people that are completely against that message.
Wow.
There are people like that in your neighborhood. Not even to go so far as a more perfect union, but they simply don't want peace in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's why they behave the way they do,
Mm-hmm.
because they're not interested in anything perfect, better. Some of them just thrive off of chaos,
Mm-hmm.
and that's who they are.
Sound like a
So
demon to me.
they're never going to be interested in a perfect union.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. We're talking about we the people, the preamble, we the people of the United States of America, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, and all the words that goes on behind that. Is that something that we really want? Stanley, good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning. Doing great. Pray y'all are as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And what was that question again?
Based on the preamble, it says, "We the people of the United States of America, in order to form a more perfect union." United States, the United States. The first word in that is united. Will we ever be united, sir?
No, sir. And because you look at it like this right here, it's 2023. We're still fighting the same fight that we was fighting back in 1963. Some of the same stuff that Dr. King and the civil rights era was fighting then, we're still dealing with now. Because what happens is, and people don't realize it, you still have those folks that feel a certain way, as the brother was just talking about race. You still have those folks that are passing that down generation to generation. They're still having these talks at home over dinner, over breakfast, and at their club meetings and all that kind of stuff. They're still trying to keep it separate. So there would never be peace. There would always be chaos. And even the police create chaos. I was talking about this the other day. I watched a guy. If you do things the way they're supposed to do, everything would be normal. But they create chaos so they can have attention. The simple thing is the traffic lights. I watched this police officer the other day change one of the traffic lights. Everything should be in sequence. One light should turn green, and the following light should turn green. Next light turn green. Next light turn green. Boom. Traffic will flow easily, quickly, and safely. They change these lights. So when you thinking one light is going to turn green, next turn green, it doesn't do that. And they keep having these accidents, and nobody says anything. They create chaos. And that's the same in the world. You have people that won't separate black from white, black and white from Asian, and from Indians and the Mexicans and all that. There will never be peace in the United States because nobody really wants that.
Mm-hmm.
You have some people that say, well, I'm proud to be black and all that. But then if the right amount of money comes their way or the right situation or right position, they'll be black around you, but then they will flip on you around certain people. And it goes the same with white people. I have white folks that work at stores, whatever. They'll call me Mr. Smith as long as it's black folks in there. But if I go in there and there's white folks there with them, oh, hey, Stanley. See, people, they don't want to create a peaceful environment. Everybody is, a lot of people faking it. And then a lot of people just think their race is superior to another race.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always going to be chaos. It's always going to be wars and all this stuff. The United States would never, and
Wow.
I'll stake my life on that, we would never be on the same page because everybody does not want to be on the same page. Everybody does not want to be at peace with each other.
Mm.
So it's always going to be chaos. It's set up like that.
Wow. Joseph, what's on your heart, brother? Joseph, you there?
Wow, man. Wow. Hey, I tell you what, people are making some very powerful points. I think this is that wokeness stuff that the MAGA people fear, because what we're talking about is the very thing that they are afraid of. And this education is what will bring about the parity that we're looking for. And most generations before us discussed that, and they talked about that and how important that was. And as you can see right now, there's some people who are afraid of certain things being taught in the school because it would bring about this parity, this equality that we're looking for. You know, men and women of all races serve in the military to defend this enterprise called the United States. And it is an enterprise ran by rich oligarchs. And I'm sure many of them were squirming in their seat when Biden was talking about them paying their fair share of taxes, because when you give people decent jobs, give them a good education, you will have tranquility that is spoken of in the preamble to the Constitution of the United States that you read, brother. You see?
Yeah.
Now, if you leave and go to an affluent area like Peachtree City, if you're in Georgia, you notice the crime is low there, huh?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. If you go to Prince George County, Maryland, predominantly black county, you'll notice the crime rate is lower there because educated people are not emotionally driven. Our sister talked about black men not being able to handle their responsibility. When you educate people, they don't go on emotion and get all falling out, because you have a sense of awareness, a sense of confidence. And then if you are allowed to participate in this enterprise called the United States equally, where everybody's making a decent wage, there's little to be fighting and arguing about. The oligarchs know this. The rich people in this country knows this. That's why they have this culture wars going on, where down in Florida, where you got DeSantis talking about he don't want to know AP African American Studies classes. Why? AP advanced placement classes. You don't want nobody to be advanced in their thinking, because that'll bring about some more Hakeem Jeffries, some more Barack Obama, some more Malcolm X, some more Martin Luther King, who can articulate not only the history of this country, but what we should be doing right now. I want those kind of people. I don't care if they're white, Chinese, black. I want all them educated folks around the table, because when we all sit around the table, we can have a conversation that will produce meaningful results.
Absolutely. That's good. That's good. Gonna go to Badger, and then we're gonna go to Goddess. Badger, what's on your heart?
We outnumber the races, don't we?
I don't know, brother.
I would think we do. I really hope we do. It
I hope
sounds
so
like
too.
we do.
I hope so as well.
The amount of people that respond to people making racial comments online greatly outnumber from what I've seen. So why ain't we working together to get rid of the bad people, the evil people?
Because it's about 50-50, Badger.
How do we get rid of them?
It's about 50-50.
Well, I know since he talked to me, asked that question. How about some people that don't think they are racist don't know that they are. Some people that don't think they are racist may do some things subconsciously they don't realize is racist. So they might not still believe in some of the things that everybody else believes in when you start making those accusations. I mean, you know, that I've seen plenty of white people that are still in a situation where they say, you know, I never said these words. I never looked at these type of views, but I just realized this thought process that I had was racist. I saw a man that has a missed child on the documentary last week made that same statement, that even though he loved his daughter, he had to dig a lot deeper to find out that some of his thought processes and his beliefs were racist, even though he never did realize it. So I don't think we outnumber the racists, because some people have traditions that they follow that are racist and they don't even realize it. And they'll be the ones to say, that something isn't racist when it really is, because they don't understand it.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
We don't outnumber them the way you think.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Badger, go ahead. I know you didn't get a chance to finish your thought, but you start off by saying that we outnumber the racists. Go ahead. What else is on your heart, brother?
And they're bringing up a valid point with the way people are educated. And they're right. I come across a lot of white folks that don't realize that they're doing something that is racist.
Mm-hmm.
But some of them, if you point it out, they'll work on it and try to figure out why they think the way they do. But that's not everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I had a conversation about the whole menthol cigarette thing and how things were worded. And then when they actually thought about it, they're like, wow, that's actually really racist. And I'm like, yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and they do things like this all the time, everywhere. That's what causes us to keep fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And we need classes, we need courses that show this stuff. So all of us can get smarter and figure out what is the illusions, misdirections, and things of that nature versus teaching just to pass a test.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's good. Teaching just to pass a test, and that's a lot of times that's what happened. Goddess, what's on your heart, sis?
I basically like what everybody was saying, and a lot of it is true. Um, but I had to go back and think of some things that I'm dealing with, and I'm watching unfold here. When the guy said you need to have a lot of people that are educated sitting at the table.
Mm-hmm.
Now we need to let how, and I agree with him to a certain extent, because sometimes educated people don't have basic common sense.
Mm-hmm. Fact.
Like
Mm-hmm.
that, I mean, and I just said that unfold, sitting right there at our commissioners meeting. They don't have basic common sense. And how could you, if you haven't lived different walks of life or been around different walks of life?
Mm-hmm.
So I hear that, and I was listening to Badger talk about there's not enough of people that I hear Badger saying there's more, and I believe there is more people that are willing changing, and that is the reason that they upset, and they're trying to take away critical race. Is it critical race theory? They don't want it being taught in schools because these younger folks that are growing up now, some of them are not caring about race. They, hey, that's my friend, and then some of them are not because of what their parents have brought up. So, but I think we're getting more and more, and that's what the fear is. That's what the fear is, that people are changing and wanting to be people and love each other, and love conquers everything. And that's what the true fear is. And as we continue to grow, and because I sit and I watch, I have a few friends that are white that have black grandbabies now, and some of them, sometimes they have to take care of their grandbabies.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually love their grandbabies. And I remember back in the day, it was some times where they treated their grandbabies different.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
It's amazing how things are changing rapidly, but we also got stuff that is tearing our community back down. And until we educate, and that goes back to my gentleman that says educate, until we start educating our people, like for example, marijuana. The marijuana is totally two different things. not the regular marijuana that back in the 60s that everybody smoked and what they have now is totally different. They built the THC so high up in it and it deteriorates the brain and the mind cells. So now they made it to recreational. First it was medicinal, and the medicinal part comes from the cannabinoid.
Wow, that's good. That's
where the medicinal, but the THC dumbs down your brain.
Okay. Let me pull some more people into the conversation. Let me do this. Toya with a T, what's on your heart, sis? Toya? Rico, talk
hold
to
on. The mute button
There you
winning.
go.
The mute button winning. Wait a minute.
There you go.
He threw a mean right hook just now, caught me dead in my eye. What was the topic? What was the last topic of the conversation was? I heard something about some weed. What happened about the weed?
Yeah. We she was making a comparison. She was making a comparison to yeah. I'll put it right there. She was making a comparison. But Toya would take. What is it going to take? What is it going to take? Because it is saying that and Badger asked a question, and he asked, do we outnumber the evil people or the racist people and different things of the nature? We can't answer that question because we don't know the hearts of what is in the heart of another person. But what would it take? Right. What would it take for us to get to a point where we can have a smoother ride? I mean, there might be a little bump in the road every now and then, but how could we get to a place or a point where we are having a smoother ride with this thing called race, and we all come together and travel in the same direction?
Well, some people do have a smooth ride because some people do. We call it keep their nose clean and do what they got to do. You know what I mean? So that's one arena. So I don't think that. I think somebody said it earlier. So we're too far gone, right? It's like when you give a baby sugar. Once you give them sugar, you can't go back. You're gonna always want it. And I think that's where we are when it comes to being together. We're too far gone. It's not what we want. It's now entangled and weaved on how this is supposed to be. But not only that, now we're trying to do things that's not even done in heaven yet, right? Because you got to think about the angels that fell to earth. They weren't even all on the same page, unified in heaven, according to the story. Still, the spirit, angels is like a spirit, still said, I'm better than you, God. I would do things better. And for that, 1/3 of the angels, according to the story, was casted out of heaven.
Yes.
So that is the first spiritual breakdown of not being unified. So now here you say to come in our flesh and try to do the same thing. I think we're too far gone. And if we did do it, it's that pivotal Jesus moment where he came back and cleared it all up, because we humans are too far gone. You understand what I'm saying? We let's put it in cultural aspect. Once the average woman that may come from someplace else like Africa or China or Brazil, who may be used to being treated like property the way they used to, Indian women. When they get to America and they learn that they have values and rights, it's hard for them to go back to the way they used to be.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we are in America when it comes to working together. I think that America has dropped the ball with leadership in such a dynamic way with slavery. It'll never happen again. It has to start over and be recreated because of the damage that's been done. Just like being a parent who had kids and you abuse your kid, it's going to be hard to get your kid to trust you again. You may never get back to that place that you did before you did that wrong thing to that child. And I think that's where we are in America. I think that, well, not in America, I think that's where we are when it comes to humanity and civilization. We are too far gone in these fleshful skins to allow peace to rectify. It's going to have to be mowed down, redone, and started over. And maybe these Gen Zers, this last group that's out, maybe they will get to see it. But I think for all us old folks that's stuck in our ways, and at the end of the day, you know, we really just don't want to let go. Some of us is really not that bad for some of us, but then some of us, we do extra. You know what I'm saying? We go above and beyond, and things happen. So I just really think that humanity is too far gone for us to get back in alignment with peace. It's definitely going to take an entire shift, maybe World War III for us in America, for us to get attacked, for us to get bombed and destroyed. And when we get ready to rebuild it, new people have to be in charge, new constitutions will have to be written, and new rights will have to be restored.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Leonard, talk to me. What's on your heart, brother?
I think that Toya made some great points. And, you know, it's better to live with truth than fantasy to me. I don't do irrational. I don't do irrational emotion, irrational behavior, whatever. I love to hear Brother Wheeler speak because he's so rational. He's rational in the fight, even for our justice. So that's what people like him and myself fight for. How you deal with your life is your business. But we're fighting for something far bigger than just us, personally.
That's good.
And there are just as many bad people in the world as there are good people in the world.
Is it 50-50?
Even if you call them good people, do you vote the right way? There's a lot of white folks skin and grin right in your face and go right in there and vote for the most oppressive laws and rules you have ever witnessed.
Do you think it's 50-50?
No, I don't. I wouldn't say 50-50. I would say that there's just as many. You can call it 50-50, but I would say there's just as many good as bad. And matter of fact, bad has been winning because bad is in control.
Wow.
That's how you know. People can talk about good people all day long. Go down to a city council meeting. Go down to a county commissioners meeting, a state capitol meeting. You'll find out what is really wrong. Go down the street and stand up at the liquor store. You'll find what's wrong.
Wow. Leonard,
so it's very evident. It's not a secret. And sometimes I'm frustrated on this line when somehow people believe that there's some utopia somewhere that they can that they're going.
Wow.
When we know if you don't do your best here and don't accept and believe here, you go into hell anyway, according to Christianity. And supposedly that is a better place than this place, but I even doubt that.
Wow. Leonard, rhetorical question. How did the movie Beast turn out for you? Zamar, what's on your heart, sis?
Don't get me started.
Zamar, what's on your heart, sis? Talk to me.
I just want to love everybody. That's I mean, Raheem, I've been on here long enough. You know that, right? I hope you know that. I hope everybody on here knows that. And I don't like looking at the ugly because we all are very aware that there is ugly in the world. What we don't know is how much beauty is in the world and how many beautiful people are in the world. That's why when we hear those uplifting stories, when we hear those beautiful stories, it moves us because we're so used to looking at the ugly. So, you know, I've dealt with ugly my whole life, my whole upbringing, my first marriage. I've been thrown in ugly. I don't want to live in ugly anymore. So that's why I choose to not focus on that. I choose to put out in the universe my best self. Now, is that every single day, all day, 24 hours a day? No, I have bad days too. But for the most part, I make that conscious choice to be the most caring, loving person that I can be most of the time, unless I'm just having an off day where I'm just like, just don't even don't even look in my direction. You know, we all have those days where we just don't want to be bothered.
Exactly.
But I don't, if we don't put out what we want,
Is it disappointing sometimes?
it is. But you have some, and you know, they say put out in the universe what you want to receive, right? And I understand people will do that. And I've done that. And sometimes you still feel like you have somebody stepping on your throat. And then it's so easy to get to that place where you're just like, well, I might as well just be like the rest of them because it doesn't matter how good of a person I am. But then you hear that one story and it uplifts you and you go, okay, there is still hope. There's still love. There's still kindness. And I choose to walk in that and I choose to live in that because there's so many people that are miserable. I remember I went out, I looked around one day and I didn't see one smile. Not one smile. And I was like, you know what? If I just go out in the world and I smile at somebody, maybe that's the day that they're thinking they're going to off themselves because nobody cares. But if I smile at them, maybe that'll change them a little bit to where they don't go home and do that thing.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Anybody have anything else they want to say on this topic before we move on?
Yeah, man. Let me come in. I want to apologize to Goddess because I know we were speaking about courtesy earlier, and that wasn't courteous what I did. Butting in like that. Now I can say this: when I listen to people, you know, because we have people to say, you know, you got one mouth to talk and two ears to listen, and I feel like it is a disservice to a person to listen and not understand what they're talking about, and just sit there and go just the way that they get finished, so you can go home. I listen for clarity and understanding, and sometimes, you know, I feel like if I don't, and I feel like anybody should feel like this, if you listen to somebody, or I mean, this is something you probably should have learned in school when you were younger. If your teacher's teaching something you don't understand, then raise your hand right then and stop right then and get back on track, so you can have some understanding. You won't continue to just be lost. Because I can remember at a point in time just listening, didn't understand what I was talking about. Then somebody would ask me a question and I was still lost. Had to step up and say then, wait a minute, help me understand what you're saying. Because out of respect for you talking, you must want me to hear what you got to say. And I need to make sure I understand what you're saying. That it's important enough for you to say it. So, you know, I apologize, God, if it came off like that, because the way you responded, you know, it may have came off like I was trying to ridicule you. Now, I truly was trying to get back or to how that related to courtesy or unity.
Yeah.
But courtesy is a big thing, man. But, you know, I think about the preamble and that perfect union.
Yes.
That really depends on the vision of what a perfect union was according to those framers. See, we got to remember that thing was written before the Emancipation Proclamation. So what kind of perfect union could they have been talking about if slavery hadn't even been freed yet?
Exactly.
But I can move away from that. That's just a point that I wanted to make, because some people might open up and say, wow, I didn't think about that end of it. What type of perfect union were they talking about?
True.
Because it couldn't have been too much union if we still had people that were slaves that were forbade to read or congregate. I didn't have the same rights, you know. So this conversation, man, is real big about having a perfect union and being united. You know, I don't like to focus on the negative either. But the thing is just because I like to focus on the positive doesn't mean that negative is gotten rid of.
Exactly.
I watched a documentary last night called Evil Lives Here. And I think everybody know this story about this woman named Michelle Blair. She killed her two oldest children that she thought had been taking advantage of her youngest child and put them in the freezer. And then had everybody in the community, even the fathers and the paternal and maternal grandparents, looking for them. Yep. She had them in the freezer the whole time. So I saw the documentary last night that came from the words of one of the surviving children. Oh, man, we heard the story. But see, the thing is that when you hear from her mouth, and when you hear her talk about how she had to walk past that freezer every morning on her way out the door to go to school or to try to eat breakfast, and know that her brother and her sister was wrapped up in that freezer every day.
Wow.
And how she thought it was just a matter of time. Man, see, we could walk by and smile at her and see her in public. She had her aunt came to her home. Her mom had just knocked her tooth out and told her to lie and say her brother hit her with a car. So when her aunt came and said, hey, don't you want to go to the dentist? Don't you want to be pretty? Her mama said, she think that tooth being missing make her look unique. She like it. She said, yeah, I like it. Auntie looked at her like, what, are you strange? I mean, what's going on? Why would you want the tooth to be knocked out and you this young? But see, she was in a situation that the aunt couldn't even understand.
Yeah.
So, you know, I hate to say that, you know, I like to dwell on the negative because I dwell on the positive too. I mentioned that police officer that, you know, I ran into yesterday that I had that interaction with, and it was amazing. I mean, I had to pinch myself. But at the same time, the reality is somebody walking around in the home right now with a dead brother or sister, mummified, abused, neglected, and they don't have the luxury of just saying they could focus on the positive. Even that little girl said she tried to focus on the positive, knowing that her sister and her brother was in that dead and that her mama was crazy, a sociopath, and it wouldn't take nothing but a split second for her mama to do her the same way. She made her kiss that little boy when he was taking his last breath.
Wow. Wow.
So, you know, this is a reality. You get what I'm saying? I mean, you know, it is one thing to focus on the positive, but at the same time, we have to be considerate and mindful of the fact that this world we live in, man, it is not unified, and it is definitely a situation where people are vulnerable, and there are other people in high positions that don't care, they don't relate. They can't relate to that little girl. They can't relate to that child because, like Linda said earlier, you know, they'll go turn around and vote in something that'll prevent that child from being rescued.
Wow.
So I mean, you know, it's, when you really relate to people and try to understand a situation, I'm trying to relate to what Goddess was saying, relating to what that woman said on that documentary last night about her real life experience in that. Not from the outside looking in, because it was horrific what we heard. But man, just look at it. Evil lives here.
Good deal.
Episode 13 of season 13, episode 2. It's horrific.
Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We love to have your input. Toussaint, what's on your heart, brother? Toussaint?
I'm here. I was just look.
Say it, man. Say it, man. Look, watch this. Watch this. Say it, man. Go ahead, Toussaint. Go ahead, brother.
Straight is the gate, and narrow is the way, which leadeth to life, and few there be that find it. I don't think that there is more good than evil. I don't think so.
Okay.
Hell enlarges itself. Last I checked. Might not be too bright, but I didn't write that. I know you say man wrote it. Okay, that's fine. But if you look at just scan your mind throughout the world and just take a look. Take a look. Every once in a while, you find this traveler that's trying to do the right thing. Everybody else, for the most part, it seems like they're in a rush to get there and bust hell wide open at your expense. That's just me. That's just me. And then we didn't pass this mentality. We didn't pass it down to our children. They can't even work. And we wonder why. And you can't blame them, because you have to be taught something to know something. You have to be guided into operating in the right way. You can't the baby just don't pop up out the womb and start walking. I ain't never seen that. You know, we got our instructions on what to do, but for the most part, who's doing it? You start with the child, you train them up. and you try to give them a right, a good guideline, a good foundation, and then you say, okay, start from here and go out and make it change, be an asset to the community and the world.
Mm-hmm.
Go out and change the world. And we don't change the world, we're part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's happening over and over and over and over again.
Absolutely.
So I say that, and I know some people don't believe it, but I'm gonna throw this out here. Oh, you will do right. Oh, it's coming. But then
I just want to be right. Oh, excuse me.
You will. You will.
I had a
You
flashback. Excuse
will,
me, brother.
because somewhere
I
I know you did.
right.
I know somewhere it says, you say, and maybe some don't believe it, but every knee gonna bow, and hell no, we're not talking about being slaves and stuff like that. I'm talking about submitting to doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're gonna do it.
Yeah, yeah. All right, hold.
Sooner or later, and then you're gonna have to get an account for it. So I stop right there,
Okay, hold right there, preacher. Hold right there, preacher. Because
you.
I just want to
me
be
just-
right.
Before you move on, Raheem,
Uh-huh.
I like what my brother just said about us
Toy, you want to see you
being
next.
change agents in the world.
Mhm.
And I like what Rico said when he talked about the preamble, that we have to ask, what did the founding fathers mean when they was talking about a more perfect union? For who? Because many of our people were in slavery. And so education is important. History is important. And to my sister who said, she don't like to look at the ugly things, and I agree.
Hey Joseph,
It's
let me step in.
painful
Let
for
me
us.
step, Joseph. Let me
Yes.
step in for a second. We've said this many times on here. Today, education is important, but which education are we talking about? Because there's different levels
Right.
of
And
education.
that's what I'm talking about. Like the Italian American lady that was driving down south on a lonely road, who was killed because she was trying to side with black folks during the time of the civil rights upheaval and struggle. There are Goodman Schroner, 2 Jews and a black Cheney, who were murdered in Philadelphia, Mississippi, because they were doing civil rights work. When you know your history, we are, like right now, we're grown folks. We're out of the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
But we're white people, black people. We still have an opportunity to learn together. Now, if our children sat in the classroom and discussed these issues and look at both sides, why was the white community across the South trying to maintain this white structure, this white power structure, this one-sided way of life, and we got it still going on today with Marjorie Taylor Greene and the MAGA folks. They still doing the same. They trying to promote the same agenda that those racist white folks doing the civil rights movement were trying to protect. They're trying to roll back the clock and take us back to that period. So even though it's ugly and painful to look at, we have to look at it. We have to look at it. Not only that, we have to discuss it and take it apart, and we have to determine in our own hearts which side are we going to be on. Are we going to stand for what's right, as my brother just said, or are we just going to be a part or be spectators on the fence? You can only be two. You're either going to be a player or a spectator. You don't have another choice. In life, you're going to either be a hammer or an anvil. Either you're going to be acted or you're going to be acted upon. That's the only choice you have in this world. So what choice will you make? And I hate looking at these bad things, these ugly things, racist things. I hate to have to get down in the muck and the mire of that and work on that. It's painful. Many of us would love to retire from this, but we can't. We can't do it because we are
see the cup?
We're called to do it.
Do you see the cup half empty or half full?
I guess I see it half full. I believe we can bring about a change. I'm not giving up. I don't give up on. Well, I don't give up on God. I tell you like that. Sometimes human beings make you want to give up, but I can't give up on God because He controls all this. Ain't no man ain't in control. Look at that earthquake, killed 7,000 folks over in Turkey and in near Syrian border. We ain't in control of this world. This world
Yeah.
belongs to God.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Toya,
Yeah, we're not in control. We're just occupying space.
good deal. Good deal. Toya with a T. How do you see the cup? Half empty or half full?
Well, you know, I try to be a half full kind of person, but I have my days where it's empty and it's low and it's a crack in it and stuff seeping out. You know what I mean? So, you know, it depends. But when we're under this American spell, we gotta remember that it's about illusions. It's about setting a certain standard for us to all follow in. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's even about replacing God. So I'm just gonna throw this out there. You know what a heart machine is? Okay, so a heart machine creates weather like catastrophes that they say are behind things like Katrina and such. You understand what I'm saying? So there are a lot of things that are perpetuated, and I love white people, right? But they just don't experience some of the things we don't experience. Just like if a man get raped, it's still not going to be as detrimental as a woman get raped. Things are just different. And when you're black in America, it's like things are perpetuated for the glass to be empty for you. Oh, you can't get that job. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, you're going to get paid less. Oh, you're going to have an issue. Like, this is something that it's a conditioning. If you keep beating a dog every time you feed him, then when he come eat, what he going to do? He going to cower. Like, oh, you finna hit me, because you've conditioned him. And that's what they do to us in America a majority of the time, right? We are conditioned. Hold on, let me put that in the back off. We are conditioned to feel or to believe or to only think about the half empty kind of situation. When in the fact of the matter, when they start talking about people who became rich, who were overachievers, it's because they think about things on the optimistic side, about it being half full. And that's the energy that you're supposed to meditate on to bring yourself up to that level. You know what I mean? So I think that for us, Black people in America, sometimes other foreign people who come here may acknowledge it, but I think for us, it's automatically perpetuated to be on a less than. I'm not gonna say half full. Let's just say less than. The white man gonna get more. And I'm gonna lead out with this, right? As a manager, as a female Black manager in restaurants, they give me the hardest time when it comes to listening, man. Now, a Black man could come in there and they won't have as much of a hard time as they would give me, kind of like, you know, kids and parents. But when a white man come up in there, when I tell you all Negroes get right, they all tighten up. And those are the disparities that I've seen on my own. But I still know that it's something that has been perpetuated through systematic teachings and conditioning, such as school, jail, and a whole other bunch of factors. So again, we are taught to feel like it's half full, but it's up to you to notice that it's half. I mean, we're taught to know that it's half empty, but it's up to you to know that it's half full, and you can get more to rise to the top.
Okay. Now, Toya, I'm gonna give you one more minute. Because Paul said, "Whoa, hold on. A man getting raped is not as detrimental."
So what I'm saying is,
I said something too, y'all. Is she saying about another man or about another woman?
I'm talking about a woman. I'm not talking about another man. Most women are raped by other men, by men, not women. So
no, I'm talking about
when you're looking at
not being is traumatized, or
so
you
when
talking
a man is raped by a woman, just like when a woman is raped by a man, most men are not gonna be in a shell like most women. Now, all women don't take rape the same, but a majority of women, after they're raped by a man, I'm not saying by a woman, by a man, they normally become very introverted and it changes their lives. Versus where most men, if you have sex at 14 with your teacher who forced herself on you, you're not looking at it as rape. That's more or less leading along the lines of that toxic masculinity. And I'm saying that a majority of men do not take getting raped by a woman the same way that a woman takes getting raped by a man.
Okay. See, I was thinking you were saying if a man's raped by another man And so that's why I was like, whoa, hold on. No, that's
No,
yeah,
that's
okay.
that's going outside the realm of a glass.
Okay.
That don't even make sense because most women are not raped by other women. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm talking about in the normal sense of things. Now, of course, if a man is raped by a man, of course, because now that's all the way backwards. Just like with a woman being with another woman. You know what I'm saying? That's on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about just for the most part, the way things are supposed to go. We voluntarily have sex with men.
The natural order of
But
things.
if you rape us, it's not going to be the same. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, good. Let's keep this thing going, man. That's and I think you cleared that up, man. I'm definitely glad that you did. Let me go to Zamari. Zamari, what's on your heart, sis?
I don't know. I'm tired today. Today has been a day. Like even getting my kids up today was something. But
way out.
Yeah. Oh, it's been way out. Even in my house, I'm just like, oh, why? See what you did, Raheem? You brought it in my home.
Come on,
but,
come on.
So, I mean, I think most of us like to see the glass half full, not half empty, right? Because it's always about perception. It's always about that perception. If you think your glass is half empty, you know what I'm going to do? Have some of mine.
Yeah.
I'm going to pour that back into you because I don't want to see anybody running on empty like that or thinking they're empty like that. I will give you some of mine and then I will go and re-energize however I need to fill my glass back up. Because some people, they can't do that or they can't see that, right? So we have to, it's like what we say, we have to pour in. We're pouring out into somebody else. And then we're getting poured back into ourselves in whatever fashion. That is how I see the glass. I see it as us pouring into somebody else or them pouring into us so that we stay full. So that's just
good.
me. But yeah, I mean, if somebody else sees their glass is half empty, you better fill it up.
Good deal. Tucson, what do you say to that, man? Half empty or half full?
I think she put something in there. I'm good. I got a little bit more than half. And that's see what we do is pull from or put into each other. And that way we're on the top. Because we're it's gonna be always to some half full, and we're gonna try to get it full. I'm finna sneeze. I might need a blessing, so I'm gonna let it. I'll try to. Excuse me.
Bless you.
I'm glad I got that out.
Thank you.
That's what we need.
Sound like you've been
holding
on.
We need to walk around sneezing so that we would bless each other.
Yeah.
I think what's Zamari, I'm gonna jack your name up for 2 more weeks. Okay.
No, you said it right.
That's what see, I did good. But that's what we have to do. If you see somebody struggling with their balance in life, give them some of yours. Add to it. Suppose they have a mentality that is half empty.
In this selfish society that we live in?
Well, don't worry. See, one can put 1,000 to flight.
Yes.
2 can put 10,000.
Yes.
How that add up? It don't have to make sense because there's a wisdom that's foolishness to the world automatically. They think you're crazy when you try to beat the odds, when the odds are against you. But when we come together and we set our differences aside for the common goal, we're going to make it. So I say it's half full, if that's what it is.
Good deal. Rico, how do you see that cup? Half empty or half full?
I see the cup based on what my goal is. You know how like sometimes you might have an organization or something going on, but you got a few bad seeds. and nothing would go right until you start getting rid of them bad seeds and them weeds.
Yeah.
And as you start pulling them out, you say, okay, we almost done. We almost got the weeds gone out of the garden. So you might be trying to empty it. But then at the same time, if you need a full garden full of plants and vegetables, but it's only halfway productive, or a glass of water, whatever it is, if you want to keep it full, because you know it's going to be a lot of more people going to need some of this water. You know what, like with football teams at the halftime or when they come to the sideline, they got to have that Gatorade full.
Mm-hmm.
Because they know when these guys come off to the side, man, they're going to need something to drink. If it's half empty, man, you might run out. So make sure you keep that thing full. So I'm going to go and say it depends on if you're trying to empty something or if you're trying to make something full.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just can't put it in one group and say it's a half empty cup or a half full cup, because there's some negative things that we need to go ahead and finish pushing on out the way in this society. But then there's some positive things we need to pile on top of, and we need to pour a little bit more into it.
Mm-hmm.
But they all really both the same, depending on what you're trying to accomplish.
I got to step away for a minute.
So for me to try to separate that, I could go and try to be all intellectual and smart, or, you know, I could be like the Riddler and try to come and make something sound all good and sweet, but it's the same. It's just a matter of what you're trying to accomplish. Are you trying to get rid of something, or are you trying to make sure you don't run out?
Well, who else we got on the line that can step up? That was good.
Yeah, that was good, Rodrigo. I'm telling you.
Did we get cut off?
No, he just stepped away. I don't have his roster, so I don't know who else is on the line. So who hasn't gone in a while?
This is Goddess.
Okay, Goddess, go ahead, baby.
What do we do? We keep changing topics. So what topic are we on now?
So the topic is, do you see the glass is half empty or half full?
Oh, okay. The glass is half empty or half full. I can say that I know that for the first time that I witnessed that my glass was empty is when I was working with the homeless, and then we assisted with over 500 homeless people. And I was so distraught because I must have been living in this la la land and didn't realize how many people have been affected, how veterans and just how many people have been affected to be living like here, how our elderly are being treated. I was living in la la land. And until I witnessed it for myself and sat down and talked to these people and these young girls and these young guys, I was basically living in la la land and living in a whole nother world.
Mm-hmm.
And my heart went out so strong for these folks that I was just trying to give everything I can give. We couldn't give wraparound services. I started my own company doing wraparound services to the point where my hair was breaking off. I was having health issues, you know, and then that's not good. But I'm also the other big awareness in how my cup just running completely out was when I'm witnessing this ARPA money that was given out for Black and brown communities and people that are struggling, and they were taking this money. I'm watching the government take this money and do everything else with the money. That right there in itself was debilitating mentally.
So then how did you feel yourself back up?
Put people in hotels and motels for 90 days and spend I don't know how many $1 million instead of getting them in placement. It was crazy. We had to turn around some of these families with kids because we couldn't accommodate kids.
Wow.
So I just, my cup runs completely out. And I had to take a breather and pull completely out. I closed my company. I closed everything because I couldn't take it no more. And it wasn't just because of what I seen from them, but I'm also seeing that these people just are hopeless and don't care. Some of them.
Wow. It's 9:59, man. It's time for us to get out of here, man. There's been so much going on. And I love what everybody say. You know, the cup half empty, half full. It's a person's perspective. It's basically based on where they are, what they're going through, and what their life experiences is. I'm a little odd, man. I'm a little strange. People are gonna tell me, man, you know, you're being too philosophical or whatever one of them big words is people use all the time. They don't know what they mean. Like Toussaint says, I don't know what they mean. But my thing is, whether I see the cup half empty or half full, I don't know if that really matters. I think what really matters is the fact that I have a cup. I have a cup. Now, what I'm gonna put in that cup? Zamar, she got her finger up. Oh Lord. I don't tell her what we about to get. What's on your heart, sis? Go ahead.
When you said that, I just thought of something. So I can't remember what I know it's one of the Asian cultures, but I can't remember exactly which Asian culture. But I love that, right? This made me think of that when you said I have a cup. So you know what they do when a cup gets broken? And I don't know if they still practice this today, but this was something I had heard. And I thought, wow, this is so beautiful. So if a cup gets broken, they put it back together. And you know what they fill it with?
What's
to
that?
seal it? Gold.
Wow.
They put gold in it. And that's how they seal it back up. And so that, you know, with Asian culture especially, right, everything has a meaning or represents something. And it's like this thing was broken, but we can put it back together and it's still useful.
And
so
more,
even go
much
ahead.
Much more valuable.
And more valuable. So sometimes things have to be broken and put back together. And then you know, for us, that metaphor, right? We find more worth in ourselves sometimes. Like we were broken and then we get put back together and then we're even more fierce than before.
Yeah. Because all of us, everybody, all of us have been at one point or another has been broken. Whether we want to recognize, realize it, or acknowledge it or not, we've been broken in some kind of way. What they say, use goods, thus is life. Thus is life. Rico, what's going on at 3 o'clock today, sir?
Well, when I get off this mute button, I can tell you that at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if you missed today's show, I got started off all wrong. Mute button just threw me all out of whack. If you missed today's broadcast and would like to hear or see the rebroadcast in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dklmediagroup.com.
Good deal. I'm trying to get Toussaint back in here. He hung up on me. I'm trying to get him back in here so he can pray us out. And everybody, Willa told me to tell you. Willa told me to tell y'all that she's actually on her way to court right now for her nephew. And the reason why I had to step away is my daughter. Y'all know my daughter Mary. She's actually out on the ship right now. And she told me to tell y'all that she missed y'all and she wants y'all to have a good day. She said, make sure you tell them I say have a good day. So Mary said have a good day. If, you know, when she gets back, she'll definitely be calling back in the morning. Toussaint, where you at, brother?
Hey, Raheem.
Yes, sir.
Before you kick that prayer in, man, you know, it's we got an opportunity to actually make a good point. You know, earlier we were talking about interrupting and this and that and having an understanding and having clarity. And I think it came back full circle with Toya when she said that about the rape thing. And, you know, Paul chimed in and I did too. And I think it was good that you stopped her right there. You know, even though it may have been rude and she wasn't finished, you did have to stop her right there to get a better clarity, because the way we received that was totally different than the way she was expressing it. And you know, it would have made our opinions differ. So by her clarifying that made everybody get a better understanding to relate to her what she was saying a lot better. So, you know, sometimes it is rude to interrupt. I'm not gonna lie, it's not courteous, but sometimes you do have to do it right there, just to make sure you keep everything on track.
That's good. That's good. I'm trying to wait for Tucson to come back in here so
Yeah.
he can pray us out.
Thank you, Rico.
Rico?
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Like I said, it wasn't no harm involved or nothing like that. But I really was trying to just get a relation of where you was coming from when I did that earlier.
Tucson must be tied up at work right now. He can't get to us, so we got to go to our preacher, our undercover preacher, to pray us out. Rico, pray us out, brother.
Jesus will.
Amen.
And that's what's on my heart, Raheem. Amen, amen, and amen.
Yes, sir.
Can't do it like her, but
Yeah.
I can finish it.
Yeah. And look how he said, and that's what's on my heart, Raheem. That's what's on my heart. Listen, it's been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your morning. It is now 10:05. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we are certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple, I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it soon very well could be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. Now we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other. And please, please, please be blessed. Give somebody some love and truth today. They would appreciate it, and I'm sure that you will too. Have a great day.